Welcome to the Tell You Later show, conveniently located at the intersection of historical and hysterical.
Sincere thanks to all those who support us on Patreon. See the full list at the end of the show. And there's always room for more.
We haven't got a title song for this show, so we're singing this thing instead.
Okay.
It's really just a substitute. Nonetheless, the melody may stay in your head.
Oh, I hope so.
'Cause it's a tune.
It's a tune.
You'll love to croon.
You'll love to croon.
Ah, but there's one thing you should know. We have to confess we do not possess a title song for this show.
Ain't it peculiar?
Believe it or not, we haven't got a title song for this show.
Oops.
Welcome to the Badass Women of VO panel here. I'm Mark DeCarlo, my pronouns are hum. I'm going to be moderating the panel. Hopefully everyone here has some, obviously you are interested in voiceover and cartoons, and we have some of the most hardworking, talented women in the business on the panel today. First up is my pal Katie Leigh. Where's Katie Leigh? There's Katie Leigh. Muppets, Darkwing Duck, Richie Rich, Disney's Adventures, and she's been on Adventures in Odyssey since what year?
1987.
1987. A worldwide famous show in like every country in the world, correct? No, it's on the interworld web. Yes, Katie Leigh is here. When you hear her voice, you'll know that you've heard her a million times. Junot is also here. Where's Mara? She's here in Los Angeles. She's got a three-dimensional voice that resonates around the globe. She's been in Shapeshifter, League of Legends, Arcane, all kinds of games, Worlds of Warcraft, correct? Who'd you play in Worlds of Warcraft?
I am Andia Winslow. That's right.
Pleasure to have you. Jenn Wong, where's Jenn? Hi, Jenn! Fellow graduate of UCLA, go Bruins. Graduate of the theater and television department, which is incredibly difficult to get into. And she has done a bunch of stuff, a lot of Disney stuff. She works on Disney XD with Kojoy, is how you pronounce it?
Yokai Wash.
Yokai Wash.
Yokai Watch.
What is your favorite role so far?
Oh, I loved playing Operator Isabella on Call of Duty. She's like Filipino, just like me. Yeah, I got to
Represent!
and my mom's roots.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Thank you for coming. Andia Winslow. Hi, Andia. I'm sorry. Andia. I should have known that because you were Voice of the Year for One Voice in 2021. Not going to be a runner-up, not one of the Voice of the Year. Number one. In 2021, which was a COVID year, which makes it even harder because everybody was in their closet doing videos at that time. You're also a professional golfer. We're a professional golfer. How do you reconcile voiceover and professional golf?
I follow direction well.
She's in a new TV show.
What is the new TV show?
Okay, I got a little story. Can you tell a story real quick?
Yeah.
When I was 10 years old, I met the panelist on the very far right. And now I'm in a League of Their Own. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in a League of
Esther.
Oh my God.
There's no crying in the rooms.
You guys have to understand that in order to be a voice actor, you have to be a voice actor fan. And we're all fans of each other like crazy.
The woman that she just embraced is my cartoon wife. She also played Marla Hooch in a little movie called A League of Their Own. Not only is she fantastic actress. Not only is she hilarious, she's been on Amy Poehler's Mighty B, she's on Judy Neutron. She did all of her own hitting from both sides of the plate in that movie. No bullshit. Both sides of the plate. Boom, boom. It's Megan Cavanagh. Next to her, the voice of Disney parks, one of the stars of Ainbo, which we have another star in the theater here, one of the most accomplished and amazing Spanish voices of any kind in America, and my lovely wife, Yeni Alvarez. So what we thought we would do today is, typically, if you go back, oh, I'm sorry, Portia, I'm sorry. I got so excited introducing my wife and remembering her name.
She's the biggest badass here because she drove all the way from Palm Springs.
Holy crap. And without Portia Scott, who was one of the preeminent voiceover agents, none of us would ever get any work. Portia Scott, give Portia. So back in the day, when Mel Blanc and Tex Avery were making cartoons, it was pretty much dudes, only dudes. Mel Blanc did female voices. And now, as you can see, we have a diverse group of women who are kicking butt in the voiceover industry and doing incredible things that were, I'm going to say, not possible 20 years ago. Not probable 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
Right?
And like diversity, maybe 10 years, 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah. So the world is changing. That's why we're here with this panel. So I thought maybe what we could do is we'll start, what is your name? Megan. We'll start with Megan. Maybe talk a little bit about your experiences in the voiceover world and some of your favorite experiences. Maybe if you had a horrific experience. We'll go down the line and we can open up for questions. You guys could ask more things.
There are no horrific experiences in voiceover. It's just pure fun. So I have been an actor my entire life. My big break was when I did Marla Hooch and Leave It Around. It was my first movie. And that created my career. And I got to audition for Yeni Neutron because I had done that movie. And Mark and I got to audition together, which is a very rare thing in this industry. And it has just been, voiceover for me has just been the most fun, completely like, I can't swear, never mind. It has been an amazing journey because you can be so creative and you get to do as much as you want. You don't have to wear makeup and you can be in your sweats and it doesn't matter. And this is before COVID. I have just had so much great mentors and people who have really, really helped me in this industry, and I'm just so grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I said, thank you, you're done. Give the mic to Yeni.
What was the question?
Tell us about your journey. Where were you born?
I was born in Cuba, and when I came to the US, I thought acting was a dream. I didn't know that I could do voiceovers and actually make it a career because of my accent in English. I'm, Cubana, Latina, and now the past few years, as Portia said, this is why representation matters. This is, there's a lot more opportunities for people of color to be doing what we thought before would have only been a dream. When I booked the Spanish voice of Disney, that was a dream come true. Walking into Disney, and the one that I wanted, of course, was Small World, because everybody's a fan of Disney. That's the one you want. And when I found out that I got it, that was like a dream come true for me. And
excuse me, I have a question. When you say the Spanish voice of Disney parks, what do you mean? I don't understand.
Do it. Tell us.
Do it.
Close your eyes.
Everyone close your eyes, please.
Let's not ruin the magic. Close your eyes. Everybody. Por favor, mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo y cuiden sus pequeñitos. Gracias. That is everything. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
So I got started similarly that I was doing on camera, and I was just not getting the opportunities because it was like at the time it was either I was one of they were looking for only Asians or they were looking for only people of color, and there was only one role, and it was like
sometimes it was Latinas or Asian in the same category for the same spot.
A queer person, just anything. It was just somebody different, and it was one role.
Yeah.
And so what was so great about voiceover is it just opened up a world of opportunities that I could just play all kinds of things. So one of my favorite things was working on Yokai Watch because I did 2 seasons and a movie and a bunch of video games, and I was a utility player. So every time I came in, I got to play 10 different things. You know, it was I got to do, I was a broom, or I was or a kung fu, panda or something, There's so many different things, and every day was an adventure, and that was my favorite thing about it. So yeah, it was really fun. And I feel very fortunate to be a part of this community.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Something about your journey or a special role, or what was the day you knew I've made it, I'm in the club?
Oh man, it may have been when I booked Evelyn in League of Legends. Yeah, that role has been, that's been a very popular favorite amongst the fans. Yeah, Evelyn is really huge in League of Legends, and when I was able to do the, what is the term, the revamp of the character, it was just absolutely amazing. Riot embraced me with open arms, and yeah, I did not think a little girl from South Louisiana would wind up on a Comic-Con panel in LA, so this is absolutely amazing to be hanging out with you guys right now. I knew I made it when I saw Mara Junot in the winter. So I was like, oh my goodness. I think that's what it is too, it's just this community is very...
I wanted you on this panel because I've met you probably the first months you moved to LA at the Women in Animation meeting, and I've seen you just skyrocket, so tell you what happened.
I came to LA and I was really interested in the business, and I went to everything, SAG-AFTRA Foundation and people like Katie, and the community, as I was mentioning, is very welcoming, it's very encouraging, there's a lot of tag team effort, and it's a result of that love that I'm sitting here, a lot of others of us are sitting here, so this community is just life-changing, and I thank you very much for, she's a part of WIA, of Women in Animation, and just seeing your legacy, seeing your professionalism, your dedication to the craft, it's been very inspiring. Thank you.
Yeah. Katie Leigh?
I wish I was as serious as she is. Crap, that's macaroni and cheese. Well, I've been in the business for 40 years, so I was around when there wasn't don't know, and I'll tell you a little horror story if you want, because nobody has any horror stories apparently. My first show, which you all never saw, that I was regular, it was called Pandemonium, and it was directed by a director named Alan Reinhardt Jr., and all the cast were about 60 years and older, except for me, who was in her 23, and Neil Ross was about 10 years older than me. These guys were all like comedians, the old Jesse White, who was the Maytag Repairman, and Cliff Norton, all these guys had been around doing stand-up and TV, and I couldn't say anything they hadn't heard before. They all told jokes. I'd say, I wanted to do so good, I was really young, and I didn't understand cartoons or anything, but I got this role, And she was 18 years old, and she flew a helicopter, and I thought, oh, I gotta sound older, because everybody tells me I sound 12, so I'm trying to, be really adult. Like what?
You still sound 12.
Yeah. So, but not according to Alan, because here I'm trying to, and I'd say, how's this good? No, she's a little girl. She's a little girl. Like, isn't she 18? No, she's a little girl. Make her sound younger. And I'd say, well, what's happening? Because back then they had storyboards, so the director knew what was happening, but we didn't necessarily. So what's happening to say? What? You're not going to watch the show? I would cry after every. I just couldn't. Neil was nice because he was kind of new for him too. I made it through, and then after that was Dungeons and Dragons, and things were uphill from there. But yeah, anyway, so that's that.
That's a good point. It's very intimidating. Raise your hand if you want to be a voice actor or you're interested in doing it. Unlike being on a stage, you go into a little room and sometimes you're staring across at back in the day, Mel Blanc or Frank Welker or Robbie Paulson and Lola, people that you've heard and really dig, and it can be very intimidating. Especially all you have to work with is your voice. When you're acting on camera, you have your body and your face, it's just your voice. And I think the key to successful shows, in addition to writing and directing, is the casting. So, Portia, I'm sure people come at you all the time wanting to be represented by you. What catches your ear? What makes you go, oh yes, this person has potential, this person doesn't? How do you evaluate it?
First and foremost, I represent actors. So I come from an acting background. So I am really heavy on people who have worked, trained, that are actors, that understand the process, that know how to go through a script and how to break it down, and not just look at the image and go, oh, it sounds like this. I get a lot of, I use a lot of funny voices. And I'm like, funny voices are great, but I represent actors. So I take the time, train, work out, understand, listen, animation is the it girl. Everybody wants her, right? So, but you may not be able to start in that vein. Start commercials, start doing audiobooks. Those are the kinds of, so to answer your question, I look for actors. And people who can tell a story, and that can tell a story and have range to it, and have depth to it, and comedy. Really.
Yeah, I think that's a. Go ahead.
I want to brag on her because actually I did ask her to be my agent, and she had a very interesting audition process. Because I read for Portia, and then she asked me a question about what do you think of, a thought about what my character was thinking and feeling, and nobody ever asked that. And I was like, ooh, I hope I get this right. I'm not going to test. I guess I passed the test, but yeah, she was very thoughtful and very smart about acting and what's involved. So anyway.
I think a lot of people who are just starting out may think, oh, I can do a bunch of silly voices, and that means I can do cartoons. But if you think about it, as we've been saying, I personally think it's harder to act on microphone than it is when you have your whole body.
It's the purest. It's the purest form of the entire art form because you remove the biggest sense, sight.
Right.
You remove sight, and without that, you have to learn how to tell that story through your voice and your body.
Right. And ironically, you remove sight, but if you're good at it, you engage the theater of the mind. You engage, I can play, any of us can play virtually any character there is because you can't see me. So I can play a skinny little guy, I can play a big fat guy, I can play a woman, a monster, whatever. You can't do that on stage. And I think a lot of people that are just getting into voice acting focus on the voice and not so much on the acting. Megan and I came through Second City. Yeni studied in Florida. I'm sure everyone up here has studied either improv or acting or something. And it's really, I think, important if you're looking to break in to be a great actor first, and then you can add the frosting on that cake, which is doing the voiceover. Yeah, I'm sure if you have questions, we can start there. I'm sure that'll tease out more information. Does anybody have a question for the panel?
Can I say one thing about the physicality?
Absolutely not.
I am not. I just started talking. Wait, yes, okay. I entered the voice acting world having not ever acted. But the reason I think I've had some traction is because I was an athlete. Yes. And it's all about body awareness. And so the reason why I have such range is because I use my body a lot. It looks kind of wacko. If you were to watch me, you go, what is she doing here by herself? This kind of room, but it's all physicality. And then I learned the craft of acting to pair with my physicality. And I think that's why, as you were mentioning, it is your body. It's your voice, but it's really your body and your brain, the continuum there. So just to know.
And most people move when you record it. You're moving and you're acting. Just no one can see. You're acting.
You know, I do a little trick with people who are in my workshops, and if you all close your eyes, everybody close your eyes, and like you did that. Okay, close your eyes. What did I just do?
Through something.
How do you didn't close your eyes?
My eyes were closed.
Oh, nobody's. But whatever you do has to have a sound.
Yeah.
A lot of people come in the booth and they start doing things and like if you raise an eyebrow, it has to have a sound. You go, what?
Everything
Oh, Mark,
has a
you're
sound.
so good at that.
I'm a good eyebrow guy. Don't call me like Frank does drawings, I do eyebrows. That's what I do.
I want to tell you real quick. I work with Stephen Kirk, and he does the little thumb projects where he puts just like there's eyes and a mouth in their nose. There's Thumb Wars, Thumb Can, and Blair Thumb, and he's done all these parodies of these big movies. And you have to put your head in a vice. We call it the Vice 2000, and you can't move your head at all while you are voice acting, which is really hard to do. So you're in this vice, and all you can do is move your eyes, or right, and then you're trying to talk to people, and you basically go like, now I'm talking, I can't. It's like, no, just freaking act. No, but my head's in a vice. Like, your head is in a vice. You can't expand and you can't move your head. It's a really hard.
You can't give sass.
You can't give sass. So this was a really fun acting project when we were doing it because we were all in vices with little blue dots on our faces, and we're acting with each other, going like. So I got to play the Carrie Fisher role in Star Wars. We're doing a
Princess
remake.
Leia.
Yeah, Princess Leia, the older Princess Leia.
Princess Bunhead?
The old one, that's what I meant. Actually, she was the young one too. But anyway, the older one. And this one's coming out, I don't know, soon. And we had to do it, and we're doing this serious scene. And I've only done comedy with these little dots in my head in a vice. So we're doing these serious scenes, and I was like, I have to turn my head and look at you. I couldn't. Anyway, I just want you to know, try it sometime. You're in a vice. And try to have conversations with me. It's very hard.
Is that advice?
Who's got a question for one of the ladies? Yes, down front.
Yeah, hi, I'm Adam with Inside Animation podcast about the animation industry. My question is, now I know that it depends on the gig, but some gigs you're recording with the cast, and some you're recording all your lines by yourself. Do you prefer recording with the cast while recording by yourself?
With the cast. 100%.
We all said cast.
There you go.
Next question.
Why? Why is that? Well, who cares?
Why do you think we're doing this panel? So we can be together.
We like to see people. You get the reaction. You can play off of that, and the energy you can't. Matching it.
Right. And the line that the person is saying, you're thinking, oh, this is how they're going to say it, and then you hear it, you're like, oh, that was I'm going to react to that differently. It's lovely.
I think especially with comedy too, when we did Jimmy Neutron, we all were always in the studio together, and you what Megan said, you hear, oh, that's what makes it funny, and then you bounce off of that. I don't know if it's the same with drama stuff, but certainly.
Well, especially when you have comedic actors. I mean, the stuff that happens, a lot of it gets cut out if you.
Oh yeah.
And there's just magic that happens when you have everybody working together because things you discover. Yeah. You know,
That's the thing. That's what I love about acting and improvising. It's like jazz music because you can read it at home on your couch before you go to work. But when you're reading with other people, everyone is, you know,
It's like a game, back and forth.
It is. It's like ping pong. You throw it in there, and oh yeah, and you catch that vibe. And that's the difference between reading, in my opinion, and acting.
And I'd say in contrast, when you don't get that opportunity, you're doing it by yourself and say it's a show. Now you're doing like 3 in a row one line because you're like, I don't know what they're going to say. Right. So you're like, well, if they said this way, I would do this way. If they did this way, then I would do this way. But you know, right. So now you're giving them options as opposed to like this organic kind of way that it comes up.
Right.
And that's what they ask you to do a lot when you are recording. If you're recording, especially by yourself and there are other people, they'll say, give me 3 in a row. And you do you do the same line 3 different ways.
What do you mean?
3 reads.
What do you mean?
Give us an example, Megan.
So, tomorrow I'm going to go shopping. Tomorrow I'm going shopping. Tomorrow? I'm going shopping! I mean, whatever.
Well, that's great. That said, Brad Bird, when he did The Incredibles, one-on-one. Everybody, one-on-one. So, I mean, it can work either way, but I think it's more fun for us to do in a group.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent question. Yes, sir, down front.
I will get back to you next, Spider-Man.
So when you're all out and about, do people sometimes ever find out that you've done voiceover work, or have you told them that you've done voiceover work?
To give favors?
One time I was getting to I don't know if it was a studio, you know, could have been a medical office, and I walk in and there's construction in the other room. And as I'm talking to the person, I guess there's like a little bit of echo. I see 2 little heads, one at the bottom coming out of the door and the other one on top, like, where have they heard you before? And then I'm like, oh, they're Disney. How they recognized it from me just talking to the receptionist as beyond me, but it's always wonderful to see that reaction on the faces.
Were you telling the receptionist to keep her arms and hands inside? Maybe that could have been it. Spider-Man.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and giving some amazing advice and tips. So there's a trend where it seems like in Hollywood movies, casting is favoring celebrity voice talents over voice actors. I'm just curious, you know, from your perspective, what is something that can be done? What are changes that you want to see in the industry that will get voice actors to be able to portray the voices that they're used to? Like, they embody the characters in every form of media, but when it comes to a cinematic project, it just seems like, you know, that's not really taken into consideration.
Portia, why is that?
First off, there's plenty of work for everyone. First off, there's that. And the big studios, the majors, Pixar, Disney, they go for the bigger name A-list celebrities because that's what's going to bring them to the theaters. And it's really...
But does it?
Well, you know, in my opinion, not particularly, and they're not always the best choices. But it's a bottom line thing, though. It's a bottom line. You know, they feel like, oh, we have to go with this celebrity because it's going to sell our film.
How important are our followers on those things?
Social media? Yeah. I mean, that can make a huge difference, but at the end of the day, it's the A-list that gets the win.
You know what we need to do though? Just teach them how to voice that. Because then we get
the pandemic changed a lot of that because when they realized that there was no work, that's why animation exploded because all the studios rushed to create content because they realized, oh, we don't have enough content. And I think there was sort of a deviation from some of the celebrity during the pandemic and getting the really good voice actors to step up and and participate or be cast and or considered, I would say. So, you know.
So yay for pandemic!
Let's do it again!
Listen, my business, you know, tripled, so yeah.
Yes, go ahead. You're going to answer a question. I'm going to leave the room and try and find someone to turn on the AC in this room. I'll be back in like 2 minutes, but just...
And then she has one thing.
Okay, Katie Leigh, you call on people. I'll be
Oh, goody.
So one of my favorite things about watching cartoons is watching the voice acting kind of change over time. Like, it starts one way and then kind of molds into something else, and that's what it kind of stays.
Are you talking about how characters develop over time in the same show?
Yes. Yeah, well, but the actual voice acting changes. Like, I've noticed, like, the actual personality kind of, not changes, but like...
They settle into their character.
Yes. Yeah, it's like when you start, it seems a little...
flat, and then all of a sudden relationships develop because when we're all in the room together and we start to play off each other, and then the writers get ideas from what we do.
So that's what I was wondering. Is it organic or is it directed?
Well, I don't know if it's certified organic. I
think it's symbiotic. Here all week, y'all.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's symbiotic. I think that everyone's trying to find their place in their role, that first, the pilot, and then you have season 1, and then the writers start to write for the actors, and then the actors inspire the writers. So then I think it's this sort of symbiotic thing that starts to happen. So you see a show by the end of its first season, it's got its groove. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how recurring characters happen, because somebody comes on like, oh man, that really hit it out the ballpark. We got to have that character back on.
And that's true, I think, for live action too. I think, if you see the first season of Friends, they're trying to figure each other out, and then...
Weren't you on Friends?
I was. A million years ago.
Did you want to ask a question?
Hi everyone, my name is Audrey. I have questions mostly for Portia, but anyone can answer. Say you have an actor who is trained, they're actively auditioning. How do you know that they're ready for an agent, or what do you look for? Because obviously it depends on the actor and the person, but sort of like, what are you looking for to know that they're ready to go from self-submitting to an agent?
Well, I don't know about the self-submitting part, because I'm sort of not in that loop. I'm in the loop when you're ready, in theory, right? That you are submitting, and so I'll get, most of my clients I sign are really from referrals and through people I know, but I also have a file where all of the cold submissions come in, and I get some time here and there to go through that, and I'm really listening for, execution of that read. I'm listening for, is there range in that voice? Oh, do I have somebody like that? Oh, you know what I mean? So I'm listening for a couple of things, but mostly at the end of the day, I'm listening for good acting. Someone, and even if they may not be right for me, I'm like, oh, but they are really good. It didn't make me think, okay, I have a meeting in 3 minutes. If you've engaged me and captured it, and I've actually have a response from that, that's usually a really good sign.
Well, also, don't you keep people in mind, like, and say, oh, she's great, and I have somebody just like her, but if that other person just liked her splits.
Well, and the truth of the matter is, we have a couple of people who are alike, because you have to. You kind of have to, stack it up, because if these people are working and working and working, I still need to have people who are also available. So we stack up a couple of people who do sound alike, but it's just, it's just about being able to be a good actor. And as they said in the previous panel, Julia said, to be kind, and I want to know that I can work with you. I want to, we don't have to go like hang out and kick it, but I need to know that I can work with you and that you're really, a good human.
Yeah.
And I would say, in the showbiz universe of people, the least jerky are voiceover actors. Would you? That's been my experience at least. Because you're basically locked in a closet with someone for 4 hours. If there's a jerk too many times, they don't get asked back. They come right back here.
So I just want to say I appreciate the panel, the incredible diversity on this panel, which
Yes.
by the way,
All over Southern California.
well, I live in Oakland, and I teach film making, and I have a lot of students, BIPOC in particular, who are looking to get in voiceover work, and historically it's been very white, very male, and I'm wondering what are the opportunities like now?
Way better now. Way better now, I think.
You know, I would say really way better the social unrest, and I'm just going to say George Floyd really did change things. And that is, you know, during that time when I get the call from head of Disney and they say, listen, we have a mandate. I need all of your BIPOC talent. We want to meet them. We want to know about them. So when I'm getting calls from Disney, from Blindlight, I'm going to call these companies out because they were like the real deal. When I'm looking at Nickelodeon, that most of my clients who are booking on their network right now are BIPOC talent. So I think that there was an awareness for some of the people, and there was a mandate, and the industry is responding to that mandate, and we're seeing it reflected. So.
And I'd also say that there are more castings that are asking specifically that they want to cast authentically. Yes. You know, that they're really looking for people who have that lived experience, who are representative of the person that this character looks like. And I think that's really different than it was before. And
Even with gay characters now, so I'm an out lesbian and I get a lot of content where it says, you know, they want no offense, they want a person who is hard to Anyway, I get to audition for a lot of that because I am out and I am, you know, in the world.
What I also love is that now, before there was a casting, if it would just be sort of Asian, or would be just sort of Hispanic, and now they break it down, and it's like it's from the specific diaspora. So, which is just so encouraging, and so, and
at the airport, right?
That's right. and it's also key. It makes me get on my toes to be able to also know. Okay, no, this is Korean, as opposed to Chinese, as opposed to Japanese, and not just sort of lump that all in. So that awareness is really making a big difference, I think, in content, in performance. So the bar of the industry, I think, is raising. You know.
Can I comment on that as well too for students and young people in general? The barriers to entry are lessened now because you can create your own content and make your own brand online. A League of Their Own, they found me on Instagram because I used to play baseball and I was hitting balls out in the park during the pandemic. And someone saw that and did the casting.
Wow.
So I wasn't seeking it out, they sought me out because I was authentically myself on the internet. So, and I didn't have a lot of followers and I wasn't some influencer or micro-influencer, I was just being myself doing what I do. So encouragers to continue to encourage your students to make their own content, to find out who they are. If they don't know, that's cool, find out. And then as a result, you will build your own brand, and that brand will be marketable to people like Portia or to the brands themselves who are looking actually specifically for. They'll go on hashtags and look. You're looking for someone from the Pacific Northwest, you're looking for someone who's missing their left foot, you're looking for someone who is going to have cataract surgery. I mean, they're looking specifically for whatever it is that you're putting out there. So to encourage students to do that as well.
And by the same token, everybody should just own, like if you've got, whoever your relatives are, if you have any connection to any ethnic group or anything that makes you you, that's what people want to know these days. Where we're all a little more. When I started the business, we didn't put our pictures on our reels because we didn't want people to see us and know who we were.
It was the kiss of death. It was the kiss of death.
And now it's, who are you?
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I also think talent is important, right? They found you because you were hitting baseballs in your backyard or in a park. Talent, more than any other part of show business, talent in voiceover is, I think it has more power. I mean, you can be gorgeous and a crappy actor at the end of a movie or television.
It made me think of like two things. One, that 5 years ago, I do not think I would have played an authentically Filipina, like, warrior, like, in a video game. Like, no way. That was not a casting that was coming across my desk ever. And also that when I was a young actor, I remember I was always I got in my head trying to do what I thought the producers wanted. I'm like, oh, they're looking for this. And that's the kiss of death also. You want to bring you, like, because you are the only person who can do you. So, like, the more of yourself you can bring to a part, the more you will stand out, because no one can do that.
Excellent. Questions?
Hi, my name is Michi. I want to ask a question about, okay, I know you were talking about social media and that's one way to get you out and about. But if that doesn't work, what other avenues would you be able to get out to get into the business as voiceover?
You have to work on the craft. That's the most important. You have to work on the craft and then networking, right? So if you're just, I want this, can someone put me on? No, you gotta put yourself on, right? You gotta do the work. So that's like my main ethos of my life, do the work. And as you do the work, it's strange, you know, it's like, oh, you're doing the work? Okay, I got some for you. That's how it happens. Yeah. But if you're not doing the work, you're waiting for a handout, it's not going to happen. You also need to meet people. Okay, I met you, so what are you working on? If you don't have an answer, then why should they engage with you in that way? So continue to do the work, do market research, find out who's doing what in the space you want to work in. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What can you develop further? Do an inventory of your personal self, your creative self, your physical self, your mental self, and make a spreadsheet. Where can I improve? And as you do that work, things will start to open up for you. So I would say, in addition to branding and being on social, you don't have to, but that will help. But you have to do the work, personal, internal work, and that will be reflected outwardly as well. I know it's kind of, nebulous, but it is true. It's true. I'm sure I don't agree.
You're absolutely right, because part of the craft is that personal journey, is that internal work to be able to bring yourself to market. You have to know who you are, first and foremost, and then how you want to present in your art. So it really is that journey that you must take, just for yourself, and then B, you want to then develop that craft, network, meet people, take classes. And honestly, social media is everything. So if you don't have access, find a way, because it's essential. So.
Mara, how did you come from New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean, look, I am extremely introverted. Like, I didn't know how I was going to make it from the swamps of Louisiana to finding my way to LA was not even in the cards as far as I was concerned. I'm not good at direct marketing. I'm very passive. I'm the best passive-aggressive marketer, if you will. But I'm a big believer in, I think it was a Steve Martin quote, "Be so good that they can't ignore you." I really feel like, if you're not seeing the traction that you want, then that's a signal to keep focusing on your craft and make sure that when they do see you, you are ready and beyond ready, because then the floodgates are going to open up. That's absolutely what happened for me. It was a long trek of, putting in those 10,000 hours. They say it takes 10,000 hours to become a master of your craft and become a genius at what you do. And people think a lot of what I've done is an overnight success, and I've been an overnight success for 10 years plus. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is. So the biggest thing I would recommend is don't get discouraged when you're not getting that initial response. Just know that it may be another 6-7 years before you start to see that. But if you love this, if you're passionate about this, and you're giving 100% every day, And as long as every day you're doing something to inch you towards your goal, you're going to absolutely get to where you want to get, or you're going to get a hell of a lot closer by doing so.
Yeah, the classes like the girls are very you both are basically saying the same thing. If you're not getting the results you want, get better. I mean, it's really that simple. You can take, Megan and I came out of Second City, there's Groundings here in town, UCB, there's a lot of good people teaching voiceover classes and workshops, Marilyn Wisner, and there's lots of people that will, I mean, the best feedback you can get is, that was horrible, try it this way. Try it this way. And the truth now is, all it takes is a crappy microphone. It takes your phone. You can read in your phone and listen to it, and the more and more and more you do it, you can only get better. And it's 10,000 hours.
And always remember, success is opportunity meeting preparation.
That's right.
You prepare, you will get your opportunity, and then you'll be successful. You're going to be competing with so many people. When you go in, you're competing with people that have been doing this for 20 years. So you want to be 40.
Every delay is not a denial. Also remember that. You know, something might be brewing that you don't know about.
Right. And it's a tough business. It's brutal in many, many ways. But if you love what you're doing and you're willing, as everyone on this panel has done, to work hard and make yourself better all the time, eventually you'll either figure out, I don't really want to do it, it's too hard, or you'll break through. I mean, Megan and I have been doing Second City for 15 years before we booked the Judy Neutron show. So it's you know, you just go out and you do what you do, and you keep doing it until people notice you. Next question, yes sir.
This question is for Jen. What was your favorite tax write-off last year?
That's the IRS, don't you?
You cannot confirm or deny.
That's a plan.
Those enormous are expensive.
No, I've been rocking the Townsend, and I've been like, yeah, with these presets. I mean, that was not a very fun answer.
Don't answer it.
But accurate.
Yes.
Hello, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hello, lady.
She has cloven hooves.
Fabulous. I wanted to ask you, in terms of auditions, what techniques have you found to be the most successful to capture casting in those first 10 seconds that you have?
Speaking.
Is there anything that you have found, oh, I need to do more of this, or I need to do less of this, or I need to show what in that time?
Who knows?
I would say this is a new discovery for me, that big part of yourself, that part that you only express with your mom or your bestie, or when you've had a glass or two of wine. That's the moment, that's the voice, that's the personality that is going to catch their attention. Like, for the longest time, you know, I grew up in South Louisiana. Like, the more I sound like myself, the more I sound slurry, the more I have this weird, it's not even like a Southern accent thing, it's just this lazy, sloppy way of speaking, and I was like, there's no way this is ever gonna book anything if you can even understand what the hell I'm saying. The second I started to let that come out, book. You know, right now you can hear me on Red Lobster commercials, you can hear me JCPenney, like all this stuff that I was like, 10 years ago, I'm like, they would never put my natural voice on because it's so sloppy, because like real is in. And people can hear, like, you know, they say communication is like 75% visual. So when you take that away and people have to tune their ears into you've got to bring as much of you as you can. And the more that you bring you to the mic, and people will feel it. You know what I mean? As much as it's unpolished, and as much as it's everything against what you thought voiceover is supposed to be. Now look, that may just get you the audition and get you into the room. And once it goes to air, in terms of like doing a commercial read, it'll be totally polished, totally different than what, but if you're talking about what's gonna get you to win the audition, it's you. 100% you. As weird as it feels, just let go, do you, and I promise you, you're gonna be a winner every time, because everybody else is sitting there trying to figure out what do they want. They want you. I didn't believe it either, but try it, and trust me.
Excellent answer. Well, and as somebody said earlier, there's only one you, right? You can try and be, oh, they want a 20-year-old ice skating woman. I can try and be you. No one's going to be you better than you.
And I think that is it's such an excellent answer and thing to say, and I think that is mirroring the time that we're in. Because, you know, before it was very voiceover, right? You had a slate, now they don't even want slates anymore. So you used to, in the old days, you would slate your name and you would either, you'd step into character and then you would hear the performance. And now it's just really authentically you and who you are. And I think that is all part of this social awakening that we're moving through. You know?
Even in animation and cartoon interactive, it's less cartoony voices and more real person voices. That's what the casting for right now. So one of your pieces of homework is to do the market research. How does it work? It's not radio transatlantic voice anymore. It's hey girl,
right? Hey girl, man.
Yeah, exactly. So what's that? That's what it is.
Relax that, though. Relax that.
Remove your punctuation too for those who are doing commercial work. I book commercials every day. And the reason I do that is because I get rid of all my grammar. There's no grammar. If the sentence is, we're going to go down to room 401. We're going to go down to room 401 later, comma later. We're going to go down to room 401 later. Just get rid of it. Just throw it away. Literally throw it away. Just use your hand and be like, whatever. Yes, just like that. Seriously, and that sound will actually come across in your audition. Because you're talking to a friend. And that's what animation and interactive do now. Everyone's looking for casual, girl, guy next door, they next door, whoever. That's what they're looking for. Right now. Actually, the trend changes again, so watch the trends.
We have 2 minutes left. I would love to go down the panel and you can tell us what we can listen for you in coming up next. Let's start with you, Katie, and work towards
Well, if you go to Epcot Center, you can hear me at the Guardians of the Galaxy queue. The voice of... What is it?
Worst plug ever.
No, I know. I just forgot for a second. Wait a second.
Ask your agent when you wrote.
Has anybody been there? What's it called? World Mind. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't sound like this. It sounds like, welcome, Terrence, to the world of something.
Seriously, worst plug I've ever heard in my life.
I have a lot of NDAs, so I can't discuss what's coming up, but a lot of sports stuff, NFL football, ESPN, Call of Duty, Saints Row, Counter-Strike Go, things like that.
Will you please pray that she could get some more work?
Let's see, same situation. Excuse me. Yes, definitely a lot of NDA situations. You can check me out in God of War Ragnarok, which just came out. Valkyrie's Mist, along with Erica Lindbeck as Rist, Mist and Rist. You can catch me in Boss Baby on Netflix. Boss Baby Back in the Crib. Arcane, of course. Season 1 of Arcane, perhaps season 2, no spoilers. And a few other awesome things coming up, just on social media.
There's a lot of things I can't talk about yet. Right now, you can hear me in Call of Duty Vanguard, and you can hear me on Hyrule Warriors. Yokai Launch, and a bunch of dubs, and yeah, and then some fun things coming up. But you can follow me on social media and find out what's happening next.
Very important. So we have all the app here, so please feel free to follow us. Thank you so much for being here. You can hear me in a new movie that just dropped on DVD at Target. It's called Ainbo, and we have the lead girl right here, and I played it. She's amazing, you guys. You have to see this. It's called Ainbo, and you can get it on DVD right now.
And she's my client.
She's wonderful. Also, Disney Hearts, the Spanish voice of like maybe rides. I am Luna Gonzalez in After the Fall. Rosita, who flew out of the tiki room to. You can see her at Disney. She's like this big bird that talks and tells you jokes. You're wearing the Millennial Falcon. I'm the Spanish voice of the Millennial Falcon.
I am in space. I'm jumping to light speed.
What did you do? Viperine in Monster High, Carmela in Handyman with the Old.
Everything I've done is old. I'm an old broad. So, are you done?
Diversity panel.
I was in the play when Lincoln was shot.
Okay, so I've done a lot of things in the last 30 years. Most recently, let's see, I was on Amy Poehler's show. I did the Biting the Egg, play her mom, Hillary Higginbottom. I did Winx Club. I'm afraid to tell you, I don't remember my character's name. I was trying to IMDb myself because I don't remember anybody. I think her name was Luna. She was like queen, and she was fabulous. Poor Scotty. And then I did Jack and the Power of Juju, and the most recent thing I've done is Pixar's Cars Plus. I do a bunch of different characters, and I don't even know the names of them. I'm so sorry, I don't. But I don't know what they end up using. And I do Scratch. So when they want to do a movie and they want somebody to like just voice a voice, you know, in the movie, so that the A-list actors can do it later, I do those. So that's fun. What else? I'm Mark and Yanni's friend.
How about a big round of applause for our panel of badass voice women. Also, Kenny and I are both in a movie called Catching COVID. You can Google it. It's a Lego movie about the pandemic, and it's funny.
And if you want to get the what is that code called? QR code. That lady's t-shirt over there, go to her.
Pretend you're taking a picture of her QR code. And myself and Megan and Jeff Garcia and Rob Paulson and Fred Tatasciore, Candy Milo, and the lovely Phil Lamar. We're doing an improv show tonight down at the
Continental Club.
The Continental Club. Yeah, you can come down to where we're signing the Neutron stuff in the main hall and shoot a QR code of that.
And the rest of us will be in room 401 for about an hour if you want to ask more questions or get autographs. She told me.
Is it 4? I thought Vinny said 301.
401.
401.
They're going to be signing in room 401. And Judy Neutron actors are signing in at the main hall, right?
Main hall. Thank you all for being here for the badass Women of Voiceover!
Tell You Later is a Patreon-driven entertainment show. So what are you waiting for? Come on over, join us at patreon.com/Tell You Later.
Languid fiddle. Thought that maybe someday I'd settle down somewhere far away from all the noise and grayness of town, where I could sit and stare for hours. Had all them fragrant cactus flowers, but only